All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Darkstone Drinking. My name is Seth Campbell, and if you're just joining me for the first time, you have stumbled upon my channel, where a majority of what I do is play this wonderful, wonderful board game called Shadows of Brimstone, which is a dungeon crawler RPG set in the Wild West, fighting eldritch horror monsters. What we're doing here is playing a drinking game to that. So this is some housekeeping here up at the front. This is not a tutorial video, so I don't teach you how to play the game, but I do play the game myself and make some drinking rules to it that you are absolutely invited and encouraged to play along with. And I do kind of explain what I'm doing as I go along. But again, if you're looking to learn how to play, this is not necessarily the video to teach you that, but you'll learn some things along the way, and I'd be happy to help you answer any questions as we go. So hop on the chat, let me know you're here, let me know what you're drinking. Tonight I am drinking a vodka and cream concoction. I'm going to call it Targa Snows. Even though we're in the murky swamps of Jargano. So cheers to you for joining. And we'll get started here in just a minute. So what we're going to do first is hop over to the drinking rules so you know what we're doing and what to drink to. And then we're going to jump back into the mission that we're in. We're in episode 8 of the Marshal's quest. So if you're joining us for the first time, you're kind of in the middle. So I would invite you to go back to the beginning and catch up. And we'll go from there. So without further ado, let's hop into the rules of the drinking game. So let's see, here we go. All right, so first off, I will be playing the game, you will be watching or listening, and I will tell you when to take a drink, and we're just going to get sillier and sillier as the night goes on. So, first off, we're going to take one drink whenever a new enemy appears. We already have several on the board, so last week I was getting a little bit toasty. We'll see if any more happen to show up. We're going to take a drink whenever an encounter card is drawn. Those are cards that have events on them that cause different things to happen, mostly bad. So we're going to drink one of those. Whenever a character moves and they roll a 1 for their movement, we're going to take a drink for that. And then we're also going to take a drink whenever a character gets a wound or a sanity taken away. So they take a wound or a horror hit is what we're calling it. So take one drink for those. Not one for each one, but if they take a group of them, you take a drink. Then you're going to take 2 drinks whenever the darkness moves. The darkness is the energy force in this world of brimstone that is trying to escape the mines or the other worlds and get out, and one of the things we're trying to do is stop it. And it's on the track here. We've only got about 3 more spots. It's only got 2 more spots it can move before it gets out. So it's going to be a short game here. But you take 2 drinks whenever that moves. Whenever a player character rolls a critical hit, that would be rolling a 6 for one of their attacks. You're going to take 2 drinks. We're also going to take 2 drinks whenever an enemy has their version of a critical attack. I might include that in the official rules at some point somewhere, but some of them have their kind of equivalent, and if that happens, we'll take 2 drinks for that. Whenever Darkstone is drawn, that's these purple gems. Whoops. Here, that this is kind of a magical energy force in this world. You can equip to weapons. The enemies want it, they harvest it, they're grown from it, and the characters themselves also want it. They sell it, they put it into weapons, and they also can be mutated by it. But whenever you get some of that, we're going to take 2 drinks. That's good stuff there, that Darkstone. It's the whole name of the game, Darkstone Drinking. And then whenever a depth event is rolled. So a depth event happens whenever you roll doubles when you're trying to hold back the darkness. So at the start of each turn, we have to roll 2 dice, 2d6. And if we roll higher than where our characters are at on the depth track, we stop the darkness. So right now we are in the middle, so we have to roll an 8 or higher. If you roll doubles on that roll, it triggers a depth event. Or if you're in another world, it triggers an otherworld event. And those are also generally bad, although last time we had one that rejuvenated everybody from a magical fountain. So if that happens, you're gonna take 2 drinks for that. Then we move on to shots. We only have a couple of things that cause us to take shots. One of them would be take a shot if a character dies, or in this case, KO'd, knocked out, so taken all the way down to 0 health or 0 sanity. They can still come back, which means we could also end up taking more shots. And then also take a shot every time we end a fight. So we don't end up taking as many shots in this game, because generally we've kind of been like one fight per episode, and our characters haven't died that often. But that could all change. So anyways, those are the drinking rules. If you have any suggestions for some different rules, if you're watching, shoot them in the chat or throw them in a comment. I'd be happy to see if we can incorporate them some way. The point of this game is not for me to get completely wasted and totally ununderstandable, even though I bumble a little bit. It's to have fun and get a little toasty and just enjoy a great game together. But I'm also open to like seeing what other rules we can come up with as we go along, especially if we get into some other worlds. Maybe there's some ones. So yeah, jump on there. Throw me some rules. Tell me what you're drinking. And so yeah, from there we're going to move on to the game screen here so you can see where we're at. And I'll just give you a brief synopsis of the story. We're following the main character of Marshal Decker McGraw, a grizzled, hardened veteran of the West, and he's been hearing voices coming to him back through the mines coming out of Brimstone, and he went in to inspect. He encountered some void wizards. They were trying to do a ritual. He failed to stop it. They opened up gates to other worlds. It blasted him out of the mines, and he wound up holding a mysterious teenage girl in his arms. He doesn't know where she came from. And he wandered out of the mines holding this girl. She seemed to be blasted into his arms from this ritual. And he's been trying to find out who she is and where she comes from. She has no memory of anything. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know her family, where she came from, anything. And so they started a trek across the canyons to try to find an old friend of his who he thinks might be able to help. And they stumbled into some mines and into a portal that led them into the swamps of Jargano. She's been following the magic and the voices that's been calling her, and they ended up at a ritual altar, and the Harbinger, the great demon, has swooped down and spawned tentacles and hellbats and slashers and is trying to get them. And she just got KO'd last episode, and she's lying right there on the ground here. And that is where we left off. So in the meantime, I went ahead and leveled up the Marshal. He had enough XP to do that, and so he was rallied by her cries as she went down, being strangled by the tentacles. And so he now has the ability of no shame, so he can give himself one corruption to use a dark stone instead of a grit. To use some of his abilities, and so he is spurred on. So that is where we are at. And so now the rest of the tentacles have to attack, so we're going to keep going here and see where we can get to by the end of the night. So let's jump into it. So tentacle number 1 has attacked and strangled our hero. Tentacle 2 is going to move or tentacle 3 rather, because we had 2 go after him, is going to move in towards Marshal. Let's see where my pieces are. Yeah, he can get in here. He's going to just kind of land right on top of the girl there. And he's going to attack the Marshal. So he's got a combat. He's a void enemy, so he has +1 combat of 4. So we're going to attack here. And that is 1, 2, 3 hits coming at the Marshal. These aren't wounds yet. These are just hits, and we have to see if we can block them. So the Marshal has to roll 3 or higher to block these. And he does. The tentacle flails around, tries to smack at him, and he ducks and dodges, and it flies over his head and does not produce a successful attack. And so that is it for that tentacle. But he, in his screams as the girl goes down, she hears his voice in her head. She's unconscious. her eyes pop open. We're going to use that revive token, and the girl heals all the wounds and all the sanity and returns to the world of the living. She was not dead. She was just knocked unconscious. Returns back, stands up, and but that means that the tentacles are gonna go for her. So the next tentacle is gonna come in here and try to get to her, and come flailing with 4 attacks at the girl. Whoops. And we've got 3. Woo! Uh-oh. 2 of them are their version of critical, so let's go ahead and take 4 drinks. Because it rolled 2 6s. Tentacle to hit rolls of 6 ignores a hero's defense. That means it automatically, they automatically get 6 damage on her. So as soon as she stands up, another tentacle pops out of the water, comes flying at her. So she's going to go ahead and take 6 damage. So that's not good. So go ahead and take another drink. Oh boy. And then she's got 1 that she has to try to block here. And she does not do it. She takes another 3 damage, and that is, oh my god, it for the girl. No sooner is she up, another tentacle springs out of the water, smacks her across the face, wraps itself around her, and she is back down. Another hero, she has gone down again. These tentacles are all over her, so we have to take a shot. Woo, that early on. And she's been our key player in this. She has been so good in these fights, and she's just getting absolutely overwhelmed here. And now it's all on the Marshal. So take your shot, everybody. And I would go ahead and prepare your next one, because it is very, very likely that this is going to end very soon for our dear, dear Marshal and mysterious girl. Okay, so with the girl out of the fight, the Marshal screams again. He's flailing against the tentacles. They are just surrounding him. He doesn't know what to do, and they are just moving in at him. Another tentacle comes in. It doesn't have room to get him. They're just crowding, and they just can't get through. And he has nowhere to go. Other than to just start shooting his way through this. So it is looking dire for our heroes. He has not known this girl long, only a few days, a week tops. But they have started to form a kindred bond over the last few days over the campfire as they've been battling monsters and traveling the canyons. And if you've been following along, he lost his daughter and his wife some time ago when his daughter was young, and so she has kind of started to fill that void, and so he definitely has this kindred spirit. And so this is a heavy blow as he's watching her being thrashed about by these tentacles and pulled under, and it could kill him, but he's not going to let this stand. So he's going to fight until his last breath to protect this girl. But he doesn't get to go first. It is the first we have to hold back the darkness, and then the slasher and the Harbinger are going to go for him. So, first off, hold back the darkness. He still does it, though. Even though all of this terrible, terrible stuff is happening, his willpower is strong. He holds up that old lantern, and he fights back against the voice of the darkness. It's swooping down, coming out of the altar almost, it seems. Oh, Marshal, give in to the base, give in to the pain and the anger. And he won't do it. He holds the lantern up, and he pushes back against it and holds back that darkness. And so we do not have to move it down the depth track for that. But the Harbinger, the slasher first, is going to can't get through. There's too many tentacles around. It's clawing, it's smashing at tentacles. It's trying to get to the Marshal, but the Harbinger is there, and it's ready to go. It has a combat of 4. Yep, 4. And so it's going to attack him, and so it flails up its wings, and it rears back, and it lets loose a flurry of attacks and 2 of them are successful, or at least coming at him, and he has to hold those back. He is at 5 health. When he leveled up, he got some extra health, so he's actually at a total of 16 now. So he's still got 11 health left. That was incredible. He got to add a permanent 6 health to his self, which was amazing. So anyways, here we go. And he blocks both of them. The demon rears up, arms flying in, flames and demonic energy breathing out of its mouth, but he does not... but he ducks and they fly past him, and then he takes his gun and he smacks the arm out of the way, and nothing gets through, and the demon is perplexed and angry and roaring, and now it's the Marshal's turn. Now it is the Marshal's turn. I forgot about this. I'm sorry. At the end of the Tentacle's turn, we actually had to do the Harbinger's Bringer of Death, so we need to roll. He has an extra attack, so we're going to do this before the Marshal activates. It is a sweeping strike, so the Marshal, so he go ahead and swipes. We can't block it. Oh wait, no, we can. Takes D6 combat hits, so 5 hits are coming at the Marshal. So it's a big sweeping strike at the Marshal, and he's got 5 he has to block here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, he's so good. He just ducks down, and that arm flies over his head, and nothing gets through. Okay, and now it's the Marshal's turn. But because of the unspeakable terror of the Harbinger, he has to take 3 horror hits, so he has to block 3 hits to not take any sanity. His sanity also went up, so he's at a 13, and so he only has 1 hit on him, so he only has, so he still has 12 left. So we have to block those. So 1, but the state of the girl in the muck being dragged by the tentacles is just a little too much for him to bear, and he can't totally withstand the unspeakable terror that the demon is throwing at him, and he does take 2 sanity hits. So we then have to take a drink. And now it is the Marshal's turn. He's got enemies everywhere. And they all have to die. But so his choice now is to go for the biggest one in the room or the tentacles. They're all terrible. They could all kill him at any moment. I think the best thing to do is to go ahead and start blasting tentacles, because if we can kill some tentacles, we get extra shots, and we can heal wounds of sanity. So he's going to fire off a shot at a tentacle, and it is a critical hit. That means anything we roll is going to get through. So if we roll a 4 or higher, we automatically kill a tentacle. So let's, so first of all, take 2 shots, take 2 drinks for that critical hit. And let's go ahead and blast a tentacle. And it is a 7. He fires back and fires right through the heart of the tentacle. And black and purple goo goes blasting off everywhere, and it is gone, and it is dead for sure. And so he gets to heal 1 wound and 1 sanity. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3. Oops, excuse me. A lot of tentacle, a lot of tokens here to do. He also gains 10 XP for that. He's a long way to go before level 3 though. And then he also gets to immediately fire off one more shot for that round. So he's gonna do that. I wonder if let's take a drink every time we kill an enemy. Let's add that to the rules. Maybe I can even get it into the official rules before we start next time. No promises. I have a full-time job. All right. Is it a critical? It is not a critical. But it's still a hit. So he's going to fire off another shot at a tentacle. If he can get a 6, 7, or 8, he can kill one here. It is a 4. I don't want to use I don't want to add a corruption to do this. So he will get 2 hits. We'll hit a tentacle. So we'll just say the one in front of him, that guy right there, is going to take 2 hits. He got 30 XP for killing that last tentacle. I forgot about that. And there we are. Okay. So now we are back to tentacles. This first tentacle is going to come in at him and fire off 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of them is a 6, so that's their version of a critical, so take 2 drinks. He immediately takes 3 combat damage. Oh boy, this is moving fast. Let's see, so 1, 2... Math gets a lot harder as this game goes along. Probably not for you guys, but for me it does. Okay, so we take drinks for the wounds. And then he's got 3 other attacks to block. Come on, Marshal. And he blocks 2 of them. Flails around, smacks at him. He knocks one out of the way, knocks another, and then it butts his gun out of the way, catches him across the stomach. He takes 3 more wounds there. So he is at a total of 10 wounds. So he's only got 6 health left. This feels like a good time to go ahead and start using items. So he's going to go ahead. He's got some bandages. Because you can, if anyone is watching, you can maybe clarify in the rules for me these items when you can use them. So like I want to use the bandages, but I don't think I can necessarily use them like let's say a tentacle's throwing 6 more wounds at him. I can't take 5 and then heal, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use them now. If you've got any clarification on those, let me know. But that is what I'm going to kind of go with here. So he's got some bandages. He's got enough time apparently in the middle of this fight to wrap some bandages around him. So he gets to heal D6 wounds. Let's hope it's a good roll. It's 2. It's not great, but it's something. So he's now only at 8. We can also get... Ooh, that's something you can do too. He's got this canteen, and he can take some sanity off the canteen and give it to himself because it was a dead man's canteen. He can take on the madness of the canteen, of the dead man, and heal some wounds. So we might be able to do that. The question is, should we do that and when? I don't know if now's the time. All right, but anyways, did we take the drink for the wounds? I don't remember. Let's go ahead and take another one. Okay, we got another tentacle coming in. There's an opening from where he just blasted, and a tentacle has moved in to try to get at him. And it's gonna flail back and have 4 combat hits coming. Please, no more 6s. 3 hits, one of them is 6. He immediately takes 3 wounds. So he's now at 11. It's not looking great. I think we're gonna have to use that. Canteen here. So we take a drink for that, and then 2 wounds to try to block. 2 hits to try to block here. And he blocks one of them, but he's getting weaker. He's got blood gushing out of wounds, and so he's moving slower and slower, and 3 more wounds come at him, and he is now at 14. He is almost dead. We're definitely going to have to use that canteen. He doesn't want to have to do this, but he's going to tap into that canteen. He's going to take a big ol' sip from it. First, take that drink of your drink. for taking those wounds. He's going to pull back that dead man's canteen and take a sip. He's going to remove a sanity and give it to himself and heal 2 wounds. And then he's going to go ahead and let's just do this a few times. And here's what I'm thinking. Should these count as hits? Should we take drinks? Nah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. That'd be crazy. We're going to be taking plenty more drinks and shots through this episode. All right. Whoop, whoop. Oh, it's my straw. What are you doing down there? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So he's going to take 2 more wounds off. He's at 10. He's got more tentacles coming, so we're just going to go ahead and keep doing this for a little bit here. Let's go ahead and take another sanity, give it to him, and take 2 more wounds off. So he's now down to 8. So he's halfway there. He's still got some pretty good sanity, so let's go ahead and do it again. So he's at 5 sanity. Take 2 more wounds. He's now at 6 health. 6 out of 16. I think that's pretty good. Let's stop there. We'll find out what happens. Okay. And then that is the end of that fight round. So the Harbinger now has a Bringer of Death ability coming in. It's a 3. Oh my god! Immediately add D3 Hellbats to the fight using Ambush. Holy crap. 3? Gee whiz. Oh my god, Ambush. So they're here. Boom. Boom. So we've got more Hellbats. The Harbinger lets out another earth-shattering howl, and Hellbats come swooping out of who knows where, some sort of portal in the world, and they have jumped in back into our world. We just killed a few of them, and now there's more back, and so we've got Hellbats to contend with as well. An enemy appeared, so we need to take a drink. This is it. This is it for everybody. But the Marshal's not giving up. He's not gonna give in. No way, no how. He's never given up anything in his life. That girl, he doesn't know her very well, but there's a connection, and there is no way he's gonna run away from this fight while she is laying there being strangled and bleeding. He's never run away from a fight in his life, and he's not going to start now. So he's probably going to die trying, though. Let's be honest. Okay, so we restart the turn. We try to hold back the darkness. It's a 12. Oh, blessed, blessed fountain of life. That fountain of life comes springing back out of the swamps. Some magical force in this world is working for him, and it comes back out, and this blue fountain opposite this big red nasty altar comes out, and he gets to heal 2d6 wounds or sanity, and KO'd heroes may immediately recover, rolling for their injury / madness and healing 2d6 wounds. So that's amazing. So this fountain comes pouring out. So the Marshal is going to heal all 6 of his wounds. And he's going to heal a sanity, taking him down to 4 sanity. And all of a sudden the girl comes back out of it. She pops back up, rejuvenated, and she's going to heal 7, so she's gonna heal all of her wounds. This also heals all of her corruption. No, it doesn't heal her corruption. Sorry, it would have healed her poison. And then she does take an injury for this one. So, oh, I'm sorry. She would have been at 8, so she still has 1 wound. on her. But, so now we have to roll for an injury. So she's not going to come out of this unscathed. And it is a 9. Broken collarbone. So she is now at -1 max grit. So she can only hold 1 grit now from here on out. Or at least for now. So she's got a broken collarbone. So obviously being throttled by these slashers would have had an impact. So, but this is big. This is really big. They're both back in the fight. It's not over. They're not giving up. She's heard the Marshal's cries, and she's jumping back in to join him. And here we go. So that means she's back in it. She gets to... does she recover a grit for that? Let's find out. Any grits? No. But she's going to go ahead and jump in the fight. So we did hold back the darkness, so that's good. Okay, all right, she gets to go first for her initiative. She's going to go ahead and try to move because that could get her a grit, which would be really helpful. She's not going to move anywhere, but if I roll a 1, I could get a grit. That's why I'm trying to do that. All right, so she's going to fire off 2 shots. And start trying to blast some things here. Oh yeah, one of them is a critical hit. So take 2 drinks. Okay. Come on, girl. Should we shoot out a tentacle or hellbat? We can hit any of them. Let's do a hellbat. Let's just go ahead and kill things we can kill. So... Yep, I'm glad we did that, because that got through and killed Hellbat. Boom. Shoot the one close to Marshal. She peers over Marshal's shoulder, fires back, shoots a Hellbat between the eyes. It blasts away into nothingness. And let's take a drink for killing an enemy. She gets 10 XP for that. And then she does get to heal her wound because of her young ability. All right, that's her turn. So now we jumped. Oh wait, I guess the Hellbats were actually supposed to attack first. Sorry. So we'll just pretend we didn't do that yet. And we're going to have a Hellbat. We've got Hellbats attacking the Marshal. Wouldn't have mattered. Only 2 of them would have gotten it. They are void enemies, so they are +1 combat. So one's going for Marshal. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits are coming through at him. What can he do? And we'll also have some horror hits to block. So first we're going to block those wounds. Oh yeah, good, okay. So he got 3 of them, but one of them gets through, so he takes a wound. And we're gonna take a drink. And then he's got 4 horror hits that he has to block. Not quite so lucky, he gets 2 of them. And so he takes 2 sanity damage, which isn't fantastic because he took a little more sanity here to recover that health. So let's go ahead and take a drink for that. And then we've got another Hellbat immediately flying in, coming at him. And it is 3 hits. So that'll also be 3 horror hits, so let's block those regular hits first. Oh no, it's only 2. Just read that. Okay, but he only gets 1 of them, so we get a wound. Take a drink. And then we've got to block 2 horror hits, which he gets 1 of them, so we have to take a drink. He's now at 7 sanity, sorry. Hanity? What the heck was that? And we'll go ahead and be fair that there would have been a... Well, no, because there wouldn't have been an opening, so it doesn't matter. So, yeah. So anyways, then Hellbat gets killed, and now we're on to the Slasher, which has an opening again, and is going to go for the girl. So it's a beast enemy. So it's got 2 combat. And one of them is coming through to her. So she has to block 1. She does not do it. And so it is a damage of 6. 6 damage. She's not high health here, so this is bad. So 6 damage coming at her. Boom! Slashes across her chest. Bleeding everywhere. Lets out a scream. We take a drink. And the Harbinger has found his opening. And can he move through models? Moves through other models and changes targets each turn. So here's a point of clarification if anyone wants to give some to me. Can he move other models out of the way? I believe I remember that in the XXL enemy sheet. So I'm going to say that that is true. So he's going to fly over here, and he's going to go for the girl and just squeeze himself an opening in the tentacles there and go for her. And it is 1, 2, 3 hits. And she's got to block 3. Oh my god. She could be gone again. They are just there after. All of the enemies seem to want her for some reason. They are trying to get her. As we said in the last episode, there seemed to be some recognition between the Harbinger and the girl. Or at least the Harbinger seemed to recognize her. And so now, none of them get through. She's completely overwhelmed, overcome by the demonic forces. She and the demon swoops in and strikes her again, and she looks up shocked as his claws dig into her, and he picks her up, and we take a shot, and the demon is holding her in his arms as she's bleeding out, and she is again KO'd. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. And the Marshal is back to himself again, and he's pissed every this is the 3rd time it's happened. He is pissed, and every time finds new energy. So he's gonna first he's gonna take that whiskey. He takes a shot of that whiskey to see if it'll give him a little boosty boost here and try to heal D6 sanity. And it's 2. He takes 2 sanity off. He starts his activation though on the Harbingers. So first, oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, so he's got to take 3 horror hits, and he doesn't block any of them, so that's 3 sanity back at him. So we need to take a drink. And he is going to fire off shots at the harbor. He's going to try to hit a tentacle. And it misses. He's rattled. He's bleeding. He just can't. He's fumbling. He just can't seem to get his gun to function right. And it's a blank, and it misses. And the tentacle sees its opportunity. And one of them is going to go for him. It's got 4 attacks. And one of them gets through. He's going to try to block it. He does. He ducks, and it misses. He's going to go ahead and take those last 2 hits. No, we don't want to do that. He does nothing to do. If he takes too much more sanity, he's going to go mad. But he's got more health than he has sanity, so he's going to try to hold strong here. Another tentacle's coming at him. He's completely overwhelmed. 1, 2, 3. 3 of them are hits. One of them is a 6. That's a critical for that monster. So take 2 drinks. So he immediately takes 3 damage. And then he has to block 2 more. He blocks one of them. With his gun, the other one gets through. And so he takes 3 more damage. He's at 8. We take a drink. A tentacle sees an opening. And that final tentacle's coming at him. And 2 hits get through. One of them back bite is a 6. So that's a critical. So take 2 drinks. Oh my goodness, I've just finished my drink. Fortunately, I have a standby. He's at 10 health out of 16. He's got to block 2 more hits. He blocks 1, but we got another one coming through. 3 more hits. He is now at 13 out of 16 health. He is on the ground, holding himself up by his gun, bleeding out as the tentacles and the monsters just thrash and ravage at him. And there's just nothing he can do except try to hold back the darkness. But first we have an extra attack coming from the Harbinger, and it is its regenerate ability, and it looks at the Marshal dead in the eye and heals the last of its wounds, almost has a laugh in his face. The Harbinger is back up to his full health, and just as a reminder to the Marshal that he's in his world and there's nothing he can do. And with that, the Marshal holds up the lantern, tries to hold back the darkness, which he does. Despite all of this, by God, he does it. He holds that lantern up and he blocks that darkness, and he resists that voice in his head. And we are restarting the turn, and it is the Hellbats. And so a Hellbat comes at him, trying to take advantage of him while he's on the ground. And it's got 4 combat hits. And all of them are successful hits, and he's got to block all of them. Which he does. He holds his arms above his head. The bat is shrieking and sweeping around. He's also got to block horror hits, though, which he blocks 3 of them. So take a drink, because we have a horror hit coming in. And he can feel his sanity slipping away, but not totally outside of his grasp. He's at 9 out of 13. The second Hellbat is coming in at him. And 4 hits. The Marshal has to block all 4. And then 4 sanity. And he blocks them. He just stays in that fetal position. The Hellbat is swooping over his head. And now he's going to try to block the sanity damage. And he blocks 1 of it. But 1, 2, 3. So he's at 9, 10, 11, 12. Woo, buddy. He is 1 sanity damage away from losing it all. His mind is being ravaged by the madness threatening to get in, and he's just not sure if he can take it. Take a drink. And now the slasher can't get through because there are tentacles everywhere. Oh yeah, the girl is back on the ground. But the Harbinger has an opening, and he's going to fly back over and move these tentacles out of the way. Get out of here, you tentacles. And it comes in, and it sees an opening, and it knows this is its final blow. And all 3 are hits. The Marshal looks up into its eyes, and he knows this is the end. He smacks 1 claw out of the way. Then the Harbinger bats his gun out of the way and looks him in the eyes. It stabs its claws deep into his gut, and stares at him with a sickly, demonic version of a sneer, knowing that he's nearly killed the one he loves, and he's going to make the Marshal bleed out and watch her die as he dies in his hands. And that is the end of the Marshal. Or is it? First of all, the Marshal's been KO'd. So first we need to take a shot. But when all hope seems to be lost, the Marshal looks over at the girl. She's bleeding, barely conscious, but her eyes are open. They reach across to each other, and their hands touch. And they hold on to one another as their final breaths are leaving their body. And as his eyes and her eyes start to close, there is a popping sound of realities as a portal opens up and light pours out of that portal, and a figure steps out and blasts its way through the tentacles. It is his friend, Sani, his friend, the Apache warrior who they were searching for, comes blasting out of a magical portal, shoots the tentacles out of the way, reaches out to them, grabs the girl, grabs the Marshal. They go dashing back through the gate. He's dragging both of them, blasting tentacles as he goes. They can't get through. There's howling and screaming. He throws them through the gate into our world, and as he's dragging the girl through the gate, the demon lets out a monstrous roar and looks at the girl, and he goes, "Mother!" And with that, the gate closes, and they are back in our world, and safe and sound, and bleeding and corrupted and with madness ravaging their mind, but they're out of the swamps of Jargano and back in the canyons, despite everything that just happened. They cannot believe it. The Marshal is barely conscious. The girl is barely conscious, but Sani somehow found them. And he cradles both of them in his arms, and he says, "You're safe now." And they're like, how are you fine? And he said, don't worry about that right now. I'm glad you're here. All that matters is that you're safe now. Decker, it's good to see you again. I wish it were under better circumstances. And then he looks at the girl in the eyes, and he said, and kind of cocks his head back. He looks at her and says, "Hello, Lily. It's good to see you again." And then she passes out. And with that, I think we're going to call it a night. So, thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to pick back up with the rest of them next week. They are safe, quote unquote, in the arms of Sani. Back in our world, at least, and we'll see where their adventures lead us next week. But my adventure is going to lead me to bed. But before we go, thank you for watching. If you have not already, like, subscribe, all the things, ding the bell, yada yada. But also head on to Instagram, same handle, Dream Camp Creations. Give me a follow. I post recaps and comedic videos about Shadows of Brimstone, and I'm also doing some previews of a board game project that I am working on, because this is called Dream Camp Creations, so I do a little bit of creating myself. So I thank you wholeheartedly for joining me, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching this after the fact. I just enjoy playing this by myself, so it's great to just get it out there to share with you guys. So thank you again. I'm going to be here every Saturday night unless there's something else happening at 10 p.m., but stay tuned either here or Instagram, and I'll upload schedules and keep us updated. So until next time, have a good week.